Welcome to the Notorious D.I.D. I am Lara. 3 days ago, something peculiar happened, and I'd like to share that with you guys. I'm going to leave out some of the specifics because it may be too far out there for some people to understand or believe, but I was in a seizure, the body was, and I found myself in the spirit realm. Yes, I said the spirit realm. The body can be a medium, which means that spirits can talk through us. We can also communicate with spirits and things like this. So I was in the spirit realm, and I'm guessing it could have something to do with the seizure, triggered it, or something like that. But I was looking through what appeared to be a mirror or a window from the spirit realm that looked into the bedroom where the body was, and I could see the body, and I was trying to figure out how to get back in the body because it was impossible for me to just try and be in the body or trigger the body or anything like that. I called to one of my fellow alters, Charity. Charity had the ability to not have seizures, so it was my first thought. And keep in mind, I kind of knew where I was, but I didn't take that into consideration when I called upon her. I was just more worried about trying to get into the body and trying to have us get back in and wake up, because there were a lot of things that needed to be done. And there were, of course, other spirits and people that were walking around and things like that. I had a couple of spirits that spoke to me, but my main goal and interest was to get into the body. So while this was taking place, I met someone named Jahmen, Jahmen, and he was a Jamaican male, and he was wearing a sheer tunic that was white and gold, and he had on white and gold pants, and he had told me what his name was, and I was, at the same time, I was talking to Charity because I probably wasn't being too quiet. I'm standardly not a quiet person in the first place, especially when I'm trying to reach a goal. And I was telling Charity that we needed to try and get back into the body. And Charity was like, we're not going to be able to do that. We can't get through this. Initially, before we thought it was a wall, but in this instance, you could definitely tell it was a window or a mirror. I'm unclear as to which of those, but it was one of those. And so I was worried and distressed because I was like, well, we've got to get back into the body. We've got to hurry and get back into the body. I just knew that there were things to do, and it wasn't a good situation with where we were, that we had to sort this out. So, without any further situation going on, I hear Jahmen yell, kind of like almost a song. It sounded almost like a song as he yelled. And he put his hands on my back and shoved me. It didn't hurt, but I mean, he shoved me, and there was just nothing but a bunch of light that spread around. And then he shoved me through the window or the mirror and into the body. And I know this sounds crazy, but it's true. And when I came into the body, I took a deep breath and I was awake. And after this occurred, I didn't overly think too much about it, because I was like, oh, thank goodness. I've had odd things that occurred throughout life anyway, with being linked to the afterlife and things like that. So really, I didn't think too much about it. I went about my day. I went and did things that needed to be done. I noticed that I wasn't hearing anyone, and that I wasn't having any interference from anybody else. And that was a bit odd, but I just kept going. And then later on in the day, I started to realize that I don't know what happened to Charity. And I started to realize that I didn't feel anybody else with me. And for a little while after I had gotten into the body, I had that energy and that good, it was like an ethereal feeling that Jamin had. It wasn't anything nasty. It wasn't anything horrible or anything like that. It was really just pure good energy. And I had that for a little while. And then later on in the day, like I said, I started thinking I hadn't heard anything from Charity, or from anyone else for that matter. And it concerned me, and I started to really be a little concerned. But I still had things to do. I got those done. The next day, I was like, I still don't hear anybody. I still don't notice anything. I still don't feel like, really kind of felt like I was alone. And in the entire time that I've been in the body, because I've been in the body since we were young, I'm not the origin. I am an alter. I am one who believes that the origin left the body. And in that particular instance, during the trauma and everything else, I think it may have triggered something, because the body had the ability to be a medium. It may have triggered something that was gathering spirits, for lack of a better phrase, but gathering souls from that were spirits. So I realized, I really started to feel bad, because I'm like, what if Charity didn't come back from the other realm when I was shoved through? And I started to feel guilty, which is something I don't normally do. But when I wasn't hearing anybody else or feeling anyone else, it was something new for me, because even when I was at the front for the bulk of the 90s, I still knew that there were others there. And I could still sense them, and I could still feel them and everything else. And this was totally different. It's been 3 days. Last night, I will say, last night, even though I've had no communication today at all with anybody, haven't felt anybody again, I have the memory of Valprey waking up in the middle of the night yelling at the cats. I am guessing that had to have taken place. But why do I have, only the memory? There's complete amnesia, maybe? I don't know. I'll get back to you about this, because I'm running out of time. Thank you for listening.